All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Monday Moffcast, episode number 5. We're going to talk about sports betting tonight. I'm trying not to touch my microphone because it seems like the plug is very finicky, and every time I move it around, I was recording some reels today, and I kept unplugging, and I was losing my fucking mind. So I'm going to try not to touch it, adjust the mic, or anything at all. Trying to keep my hands to myself. But this is something that I've talked about a couple of times, but I had somebody hit me up and say, "Hey, I'd really like for you to clarify your stance on this." And it's like, first of all, why? Who cares? Yeah, this is the disclaimer that I say, and I'll say before every video. Like, I'm just a dude with a microphone on the internet. I am not a life coach guru. I am not here to tell you how to live your life. I am not here to tell people what to do. I am not here to tell anybody that you should do XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, or else you are gay or you suck or you're a dumbass or you're a retard. I don't care. I say how I think about things and I say what I think about certain things. And if you disagree, that's okay. The difference, I guess what I'm trying to convey is I think about things a certain way. And if there's a big enough difference between you and I, whoever is listening to this, or if there's a big enough disagreement, then that just means like we're probably not going to get on. And that just means that maybe I don't, you don't want to be a part of my group, my community, and vice versa. But, maybe this is something where you'll completely disagree on this shit, but you'll have agreements on other takes like women and lifting and shit like that. But it's gonna be kind of convoluted because I don't have like an amazing like hardcore stance on okay, this is what's cool about sports, this is what sucks about sports. But let's just start to unpack this thing. I guess I'll start with I always grew up playing sports, big baseball guy, big football guy, and I even worked in sports the first couple of years of my career. I worked in baseball, worked for the New York Mets in 2015, 2016. Went to the World Series, amazing environment, amazing. It was a great. It was it was cool. I loved it. But the more that I've kind of grown and done my own and carved out my own path and tried to create my own things and built my own tribe and my own destiny legacy, so to speak, I became more and more, less and less focused on sports. And for reasons that I started to kind of see what sports did to people and what super fandom led to. And so I've said like, oh, I think sports are this or sports are that, but sports are fun. I will say like my problem or the stuff that I find cringy or the stuff that when I see it, I'm like, ugh, it's when people are taking sports or a sports team or a sports franchise and they are tying it to their own personal identity, whether it's players, whether it's the team colors, whether it's the organization itself. It's being a fan is no longer, it's not just about watching something entertaining and watching something. And look, like I think that sports certainly can be entertaining. They can be entertaining just like video games. They can teach life lessons. When you look at things about feats of strength or feats of physicality or even strategy and the great minds that go into coaching and things like that, I think you can learn a lot from sports. And I think you can learn a lot from great players and great coaches of the time past. I think the issue becomes when people envelop themselves so much within sports and sports culture or a sports team. And we'll get into sports betting too, which is, I think, insane. That's when I think it overall becomes my line. You know, anytime I hear somebody say, we did this, or you did this, or y'all did this, my team, our team, we beat you guys. Like, you're not on the team. You don't play for them. You don't have a number. You don't work for them. They don't sign your paychecks. They don't even know you exist. And I've been like, I worked in sports and I've been around enough high profile athletes and former athletes in my time to know that these guys don't really care. They're there to play a game. They're there to do a job. I'm not saying they don't care about what they're doing, but they really don't care about the fans. And they don't care about your tweets and you chirping at them and you talking shit to them because they missed a 3-pointer at the buzzer and fucked up your parlay, or they ruined your fantasy football league, and or whatever it might be, or that you're even a big fan and you wear their jersey. Man, a grown man wearing another grown man's name across his back, it's odd to me. It's weird. It's strange. It's like, Why isn't your name good enough? Why haven't you built your name into something good enough that you're proud to wear your own last name? Why do you have to wear another man's name? Especially somebody that's younger than you. Like if you're an older football fan or an older fan in general, these are like 20-year-olds and you're like 50. What the hell are you doing, man? But in any case, I don't have a personal problem with sports. I just think that there's when it starts to shift into somebody's identity, it starts to become where I'm just like, hey, I don't want to talk to this guy. I don't want to be a part of this conversation. Taking it a step further, and you could look at this as far as maybe you're a fan of a certain actor, but it's like, yeah, I'll watch a movie with XYZ actor in it. Like, I like the work that this guy does. I'll watch stuff that he's in. I think he's a good actor. Like, cool. Yeah, I enjoy his work, but I don't care who he's dating. I don't care about his personal life. I don't, know where he lives. I don't know who he's had falling outs with and what directors he likes to work. I'm not making his personal life or the things beyond the value that I get any sort of interest to me. These guys that spend days, weeks, all year round looking at stats and following the trade talk and the waiver wire. And I understand, like, sports has become such a huge, huge part of modern culture. And it brings people together and it can bring families together. And it's something you can just have in common. But I think that's also, it shows and displays our natural biological human need for community and for closeness and for social interaction. It's just that I think sports is a bad measuring stick. I think just because you're the fan of a team and someone else is a similar fan of that team, I don't think that's a good enough reason, or I don't think that's a good enough buffer or a evaluator to really consider whether this is somebody who you should spend time with. And if you think about the average sports fan, even if you zoom out and go all the way back and you think about the average man is fat, lazy, broke, bad with women, wastes his time, can't get laid. Like, the average man is a fucking loser. Sorry. It just is the way that it is. And we know this by now. If you guys have been following along, you know this. If you're average, you're just not winning. You should be trying to become above average. In any case, right? I think it's just a bad mechanism to say, oh, I'm a fan of this team, and this guy's a fan of that same team, so therefore we're going to be friends. There's all kinds of things out there that I think are better mechanisms for how you evaluate your relationships, and specifically the people that you want in your inner circle. I mean, being in shape is definitely one of them. What are your hobbies? What are your beliefs? What do you hold dear? What are your personal values and your personal, the way you carry yourself? How are you in relationships? Those are the things that I really look at. First thing I'm going to look at, I've talked about this before, and I'll beat guys over the head with it until I'm blue in the face. The number one, first and foremost thing that I'll look at when I'm trying to figure out if this is a guy that I want to spend time with or that I want to maybe be around or have in my tribe is his physique, right? If you're not dialed in or you're not in at least some sort of decent shape, the likelihood that I'm going to find anything in common with you or want to spend any time with you outside of your basic pleasantries and shake some hands and like, how's the weather today, is very, very, very slim. And I talked about this last week, even cutting own family members off, even having to have really difficult conversations with people that I've known my entire life because they won't take care of the number one thing that I think matters. And a lot of people still think getting in shape is all about vanity and looks, and you're a douchebag if you have a six pack. But the guys that are in shape and guys that are ripped, like, are some of the best people I know. You don't have to choose between being a guy that's jacked and tough versus being a nice guy. You just don't have to. And so I've talked about this before, the halo effect, like everything improves for you, your business opportunities, your chances with women, and everything decreases and everything goes in the opposite direction if you're fucking fat ass and you're out of shape. Again, you guys know all this. So that's one thing. Two, it's like, how does he manage the women or woman in his life? Is he simpy? Is he a guy that just thinks women are these infallible creatures and places them on pedestals? Is he a guy that just, is the happy wife, happy life guy? And conversely, is he a woman hater? Is he the motherfucker that gets on here and he's like, yeah, Western women are cooked, modern women are done, like the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear from you guys either. Or is he a guy that's like, yeah, man, women are women and they're annoying, but they're also cool. And I do what I want. And the women that want to be on my program and the women that want to be on my ship are on my program and on my ship. And I'm just going to do my thing. I live my life on my own terms with my mental point of origin, and I'm the leader of myself and my domain. If she wants to be on board, great. And then it's like, how do you manage other relationships? Like, are you a leader in relationships? Can you get things done? Do you show up? Do you like to do the hard things? Do you like to push yourself physically, mentally, acquiring new skills, learning? Are you one of these guys? It's like, I've lived a certain amount of time, so I have nothing to prove, or I've done a certain amount of things, so I'm ready to just kick my feet up and, play some golf and drink fucking pina coladas by the pool or on the beach because I just got nothing to prove to anybody. And everybody should just kiss the ring because I'm the man. Fuck that guy too. So I just don't think sports is a good mechanism for evaluating that. Now, I think if you have, maybe you got close friendships with people already, or you've got close relationships already and they like sports, and it's something you guys can watch together. I don't know, maybe like your girl's family is diehard something. I don't know. Maybe it's something that makes them happy. It also makes it easy to shop on Christmas and birthdays, right? Like if they're a big football fan or baseball fan or hockey fan or whatever, buy them a fucking t-shirt and a hat and call it a day. Like you can do that every single year. So that's one of my main beefs, is that I just don't think it's a good mechanism for viewing somebody or judging somebody's character. I think there are better ways to evaluate people in your circle and who you would want to be around. Two, I think with anything, it's a vice. I think gambling's a vice. I think video games are a vice. I think drinking and smoking is a vice. I think there's a ton of vices out there that are meant for purely entertainment means. I think sports is a better vice to have than gambling or an addiction. Drinking, smoking, don't get me wrong, absolutely. But it can get out of control. There's entire channels that are dedicated to keeping you glued to your seat all day long on Sundays when football is playing. There's just it's playoff time right now. Like the Super Bowl is going to be in 2 weeks. And so, playoffs, let's make sure we do games on Saturday and Sunday, or let's make sure, I think I talked about this, and it's like the quintessential sports guy is watching football or some sort of sports every single night of the week. And I'm not saying that you can't take an hour or 2 hours or even 3 hours to watch a game every now and then, but if you are somebody that's trying to build something, if you're trying to build a business, if you're trying to level up your skills and make more money, if you're trying to get out of the rat race, then sitting back and looking at how much time you're spending entertaining yourself, watching other guys that have done the hard work. See, and this is maybe something that hopefully resonates with guys. If you understand what the kind of life an athlete has, guess what those guys aren't doing? Sitting around, fucking around, like playing video games and like fucking watching sports and like doing and participating in vices, right? I mean, there's gamers out there, don't get me wrong, but like for these guys to reach the pinnacle of their sport, for them to make the NFL or for them to make MLB or NHL or even be a UFC fighter, these guys don't have the time to sit around and watching other guys chase their dream. They're training, they're working. Their day is very boring, especially professional athletes, even amateur athletes. I mean, there's fighters that I know that go to my gym who don't even make money from fighting. And if they're not training, they're recovering and eating. And if they're not recovering and eating, they're looking up, new skills, or they're watching film of upcoming opponents, or they're learning about their craft and they're mastering their art. They don't have time for entertainment. Like they're so dialed in with trying to get to that next level. And so it's like every guy seems to want to fight me on this. And I ask a guy like, hey man, what do you want to do? Like, well, I got this shitty ass 9 to 5 that I hate. My boss is a real dick. I want to start my own business. I know that the corporate world is not what it used to be, where you just work at the same plant for 30 years and they give you a gold watch and when you retire and then you get a nice pension, that you're at the chopping block at any old time and you can be just cut without notice and they don't care. They'll fire you. So I know that I need to get out of the rat race. I know that I need to do my own thing. I know that I need to control my own destiny. But I really like watching sports. I really like watching football. I just want to do it. I like to play video games. I really just like to do it. It's like, you're not going to beat the guy who doesn't spend time on bullshit. And that's just what you have to be honest with. And you have to just tell yourself that. I'm not saying don't watch fucking sports. I'm not saying don't have this. I'm not saying don't do these things that are entertaining to you. But just understand that every hour that you say yes to something other than your mission suffers. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't propel you forward in a way that's going to get you where you ultimately want to go, you're setting yourself back. I said this the other day. Like I had this, dieting is like a similar thing where it's like, look, if I'm on a cut, which I pretty much perpetually am. I got like 7 pounds to go, and then I'm gonna hopefully, do a nice little transformation reveal for everybody. I put something on my Instagram today just because I'm a vain motherfucker. But this idea that the witching hour, like the toughest part of my day, is between like 8 o'clock and about 10 to 10:30. That's when I get the sweet cravings. I've eaten all I'm going to eat. I'm relaxing usually for the rest of the day, unless I have a show or something like that. Because tonight we've got the female point of view, and then tomorrow we've got navigating modern dating. Thursdays I do sparring. Wednesdays is like a day off, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I mean, between the hours of 8 and 10, it's like, gotta have something sweet, cookies or candy or whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. Like ice cream, big sweet tooth guy, and so I know that if I order sweets, first of all, I'm hungry and I want sweets and I'm dieting and it sucks. So I'm currently suffering. All right. Now, I know that if I order cookies or go and pick up a pint of ice cream, I will be fine and happy in that moment for as long as it takes me to eat those cookies or eat that ice cream. But I know, and I'll be content for the rest of the night, but I know that when I wake up the next morning, I am going to be right back to suffering again because I'm going to be pissed at myself and I'm going to get on that scale and see the number gone up. And I'm going to kick myself and say, I could have just had the fucking discipline to suffer then, because I'm suffering either way. I'm either suffering in a way that gets me closer to my long-term goals, or I'm suffering in a way that gets me away from my long-term goals. So whenever those two are going head to head, choose the one that's going to get you further to where you actually want to be. And all that is a lesson in delayed gratification. It's like suffer now so you can be better later, or be good now and you're going to suffer later. And so that's just what it comes with anything. It doesn't have to be sports, but I don't know I don't know a lot of casual sports fans. I think that's kind of where this is starting to go. I don't know a lot of people like me that'll just like maybe throw a game on, or am I going to watch the Super Bowl? Sure. I'm not one of these hardos. It's like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I'm chasing excellence. I don't have time for the Super Bowl. Like, shut up. Fuck off. But am I going to throw a random game on a Monday night of like two teams that I don't care about, I have no stake in whatsoever, random game on Tuesday? Yeah, probably fucking not, man. Like, I don't care. So there's not a lot of casuals out there, and we'll get to that in a second. Most guys that like sports seem to be pretty diehard. They've got multiple teams. They're like, well, I got a hockey team. And like the worst are the guys that have two teams for every sport. Like, well, this is my American League team, and this is my National League team. This is my AFC team, my NFC team. This is my Metro and my Atlantic and my blah, blah, blah. And it's like they got 9 different fucking teams they're rooting for. So they're always watching something. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Like there's always something coming down the. But now you got UFC. Now it's F1. There's always something coming down the hopper. So I've noticed there's not a lot of people out there that are like, I'm a New York Jets fan through and through. That's all I watch. I don't care about anything else. Like when I lived in New York, it was like, it's Giants, Knicks, Yankees. But there's like 9 teams up there. You could be a Devils fan, Mets fan, Yankee fan, Jets fan, Giants fan, Knicks fan, Nets fan. It's nuts. And so LA is the same way. Texas is the same way. There's a lot of these places that have just multiple teams. So it's just like your attention is always being diverted somewhere. And I think that's kind of part of the problem, because there's not a lot of guys that are like, well, I just watch one game a week. It's like, no, you probably watch multiple, and then you spend time reading about the game and then reading what the reporters have to say. And then you're on Instagram, like looking at what the players are saying. You're trying to figure out who the new free agent is coming in or who's in trade talks. And it's not just watching the game itself. It's all the other shit that surrounds it, the rumor mills and the trade talks and the free agent signings. Like all of that stuff aggregates and all of that stuff adds up. So if somebody comes to me, he's like, hey, man, I just like watching football. I think it's cool to watch dudes like kick the shit out of each other. But again, I don't know a lot of guys like that. I don't know a lot of guys that are just football fans. If you're a football fan, you are a fan of a team. But conversely, like My buddy Nolan asked me about this a couple of months ago, and he's like, you watch UFC? I'm like, yeah, I watch a lot of UFC. I watch pretty much every card. Now that's on Paramount, I'm stoked because I'm going to save like $1,200 this year. And I just watched the card this past weekend, and I was, all hats off to Justin Gaethje, but man, Patty getting beat like that sucked. In any case, I like watching fights. I am not a fighter fan. I think I like Patty's entertaining, but I'm like not losing any sleep over it. I liked watching I like watching him fight. I like watching Conor McGregor fight. Some of these old school guys, Chris Weidman, Anderson Silva. I liked watching their fights. I wasn't following them along, and I wasn't like learning about their bio and where they're from, all this kind of stuff. I like watching them perform. And I'm also a fighter, so I like to fight. So I like to say, oh, I like this. I like the art of fighting. But I don't know a lot of guys out there. They're like, yeah, I'm just going to throw on like Monday Night Football because I just love football. I mean, maybe you're a coach, or maybe you're, trying to watch with your kids. I don't really know. But that brings me to that next point. So, because what do they do with those people, right? So they've got the super fans. Those people are already dialed in. It's all fine, well, and good. Now they've brought sports betting and they've legalized sports betting pretty much. And it's not just that it's legalized. It is, you are beaten over the head with it. It is their main sponsors. Every commercial is a betting commercial. Some people out there might be too young for this. I don't think most people that watch this channel are. I think that most people that watch this probably remember when sports betting, extremely, extremely taboo. Couldn't talk about it. You couldn't talk about it on live shows. You couldn't announce, like the announcers couldn't have been on it. Like you could not talk about it. I mean, you have players that were banned from sport. Like Pete Rose got banned from betting on his own games, right? And now it's how hypocritical are we that, now it's the official sponsor and they're encouraging people. And now you've got analysts before the game, even during the game. It's like, oh yeah, if they make this field goal, they cover the spread, like money line. It's like, it's crazy how it's infected this. And it's all because they're targeting the casuals market. If you're just an average dude and you don't really care about any particular team, or maybe you do, and you're one of these guys that doesn't spend any time watching other teams or watching anything else. You're like, yeah, 3 hours a week, I'm going to watch, the Dallas Cowboys because they play. So that's my commitment, 3 hours a week. And it's like, oh, hey, did you know that you could also make money on other games? And now you take a innocuous matchup and like two teams maybe that you don't care about in a game that you don't care about, and you can throw a couple $1,000s on the outcome, and now this whole thing's turned into your own personal Super Bowl. And I think it's personally, don't get me wrong, I think it's fucking disgusting. Now, as somebody who has dabbled with gambling quite a bit, I used to play a lot of blackjack. I used to actually do sports betting. It really can fuck you up mentally, emotionally. It can absolutely wreck you financially. I mean, you got people that lose their houses, their college, their kids' college tuition funds. People's marriages get broken up over this. And casinos and gambling companies are dirty, dirty, dirty businesses. They know exactly what they're doing. Like casino owners and casino companies and sports books, these people, in my opinion, are no better than drug dealers. They're taking a product or they're taking something and they are dangling it in front of humans, and they're capitalizing on our most animalistic impulses and our our addiction, our ability to get addicted to things, and the dopamine rush. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, like there is just no thrill like winning at gambling. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. I've sold millions of dollars of things in my life, software, sports tickets, memberships. Closing a deal is always cool. Closing a deal you worked for always feels good. But I'm telling you, there is no high like flipping over a blackjack on a double down when you got all your chips on the table, or watching somebody throw a last minute touchdown pass and you winning your 5-leg parlay to cash out like $4,000. There's just nothing like it. And there's no loss and there's no hit like a gambling hit, man. It's bad. It's bad. I'd rather, again, I used to go to the casino, I play a lot of blackjack, and I'd play pretty decent money. Like I would play with $2,000. I would usually play $100 or $200 hands, and I would do pretty well. The most I ever made in one session was about $10,000. But I've lost more than that over time. Trust me. Like I've gained and lost, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I don't really play anymore. The last time I played was when I was down in Miami for, a weekend of celebrating a birthday. And even then I only played like $25 hands. And since then, and before that, I didn't play for like 8 months. And I used to go multiple times a week. And so even if I'm only losing like $100, $200, it's horrible. I am terrible to be around. Like you don't want to go gambling with me unless I'm on a hot streak. Like if I start to lose, I like will look out. And it's terrible. It just turns me into the kind of guy that I don't want to be. And so I just stay away from it. And to me, it's like alcohol or like drugs. Like it's like when you're cool and you're sober, people want to be around you. You're a cool, fun guy that people like hanging out with. But when you get fucked up or drunk or this, then you turn into somebody completely different. And it's like gambling is the exact same thing. And it's the exact same way. And again, I think it's it's a distraction. It's a way to continue to get your money. I mean, they're always trying to sell you something, right? The upgraded TV package. They want to sell you the new jerseys. They want to sell you that now it's like they want your money because they know that you're going to gamble on your favorite team. And it's like, what better way? If you like watching your team win, imagine how much you'll like watching them win, and they're going to put money in your pocket. And this is actually how these people think. And they're terrible. And it's like, you can go and lose. I mean, there's stories, man, of people losing their ass, losing their house, losing life savings. And then the next day they'll wake up to an email or they'll get a phone call from the casino saying, hey, like tough luck last night, but we wanted to see if you would like us to comp you 2 weekends at our hotel where you can come and we'll give you a $500 voucher to come gamble. It's like, hey, drug addict, hey, crack addict, how about just a little bit of crack? But just a little bit for free, just a little bit of crack. Would you like some? Would you like some crack? That's what they're doing to these people. And do people have agency? Sure. You could look at it from a couple of different schools of thought. Well, these people, it's their fault, right? They should control themselves. They should control their agency. I try to be a little more lenient, especially in matters of human behavior and subconscious drivers. Because this is also, I think, where a lot of the problems between men and women in relationships stem from. I did a video last week about why I don't think men and women should generally work together, especially in office environments, because you are taking 2 people or 2 beings that really have one function of being together on this earth, and that's fucking and making babies. At no point in human history did men and women ever work together in tandem to achieve like a common goal other than survival. And how did they do that? They procreated. Maybe the guys went off to fucking hunt and they all went to go off to war to protect and bring shit back. And the ladies hunted and gathered. They didn't really hunt, but they gathered. They took care of the homestead. They took care of the babies. And that's how we survived. The men got out and they got the bacon. The women cooked it up. Then boom, we moved forward. And that's how it was. But at no time was it like, hey, let's put together this group project and take 2 people that think about subjects and objects completely different, 2 people that think differently, 2 people that brains are entirely differently, and just say, hey, go ahead and ignore all of your basic impulses, control yourself, ignore everything that makes you human, and don't focus on that. Focus on the task at hand. It's like, you know what we're going to do? We are going to put a lion in a exhibit with a gazelle, and then we're going to give them a puzzle and then see if the lion and the gazelle can work out the puzzle together. But let's make sure the lion, we need to make sure we tell the lion to not eat the gazelle. Don't do what you were literally bred and born to do. Don't do what thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution have hardwired into your brain, which is there's food and I'm a predator and I'm going to eat it. Focus on the puzzle. And then we demonize the lion for being this knuckle dragger while the gazelle is just this, the gazelle couldn't do anything wrong. I digress. Let me get this question really quick. What helps yourself from me for gambling? Any advice? My mom has a gambling addiction. While I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. Anything to do if I can see to help my mom. I stepped away because I was losing too much fucking money. And I didn't like who I was when I was gambling, especially when I was losing. I hated losing so fucking much that I just couldn't take it. And it's like, I'm going to go nuts. Like, I'm going to drive myself insane. I'm telling you, like, Losing at gambling takes me to a place of anger that is legitimately scary. Legitimately scary. So I'm not a professional. Call the fucking hotline, call the gambling addicts. Like, I have no idea. I mean, you can't make anybody do anything. I can only do my personal experience, which is I had the self-awareness and the wherewithal and the realization that it's like, this is really not good. And if I'm not careful with this, I'm going to alienate people. And I actually might get to a point where I hurt somebody. And that's not something I want to do. And then you realize it's like, dude, none of this shit fucking matters. It's over a game. Like, it's football. Tomorrow, none of this is going to matter. None of this affects you in any way. These people don't know who you are. They don't know your name. They don't care about you. Why? Why? Like, you are playing into these people's hands. So I don't have any tips for you on how to stop gambling or how to get somebody else to stop gambling. That's the only thing that worked for me, was getting the absolute shit kicked out of me. It's like with anything else, man. It's like, and some people never come back from that. Some people can never learn. Some people go on tilt and they just need to win and they need to win and they just can never like cut their losses and go away. And that's what it was for me. I was just like, you know what? That's it. If I don't ever play again, then I can never lose any more money in gambling. Right. So, you know, it's interesting to me though, because I generally think that I don't generally think this is a fact psychologically. Humans are generally more afraid of losing what they have than risking what they have to get something better. Gambling seems to be the exception of the rule, but here's what these gambling companies and these sports books have done. They've made it so easy. All you got to do is download an app, plug in some information. They do a quick background check on you, make sure you're 21, you're legal gambling age, connect your bank account, and then it's just clicking buttons. You don't see the money actually leave your hand. It's not like it's just like, it's all numbers. It's all pixels. It's fairy dust. And it's just, you don't really realize what's happening and kind of what's going on. And that's a reason I think that sports gambling and sports betting has become so big, and because it's such a problem, because it's just so easy. It's just so easy. And now even gambling has gotten into video games. Like, kids can technically gamble. They have these in certain games. They have like, you can go and buy packs of virtual trading cards and they'll give you like specific power-ups. So they'll unlock specific contents of the game and things like that. But you have to buy the pack and then it's a complete crapshoot. It's like buying a pack of cards. You never know what you're going to get. It's basically gambling. And then it's like, oh, didn't get it. Got to keep going. And they link like their parents' credit card or something like that. And all of a sudden there's, a $10,000 bill at the end of the month because their 12-year-old wanted to get the newest gear for Fortnite or whatever the fuck the kids are playing now. I know I've gone a little bit off the rails here, but it just seems like one of those things that is not ever done in moderation. Sports betting, it has seemed like it is so ingrained into our culture that a lot of guys seem to want to fight me on this. And they're like, I don't think there's anything wrong with watching sports casually. It's like, but dude, be honest with yourself. Do you really watch it casually? If you do, then fucking cool. More power to you. But I bet you've got a jersey. I bet you've got memorabilia. I bet you say we won. I bet you go on and online and argue with random strangers about who the quarterback's going to be. I bet you check your phone. I bet you have alerts set up for your favorite teams. I bet you've got your ear to the ground with all the trade talk and the gossip and all that kind of stuff. So it's not just 3 hours a week. It bleeds into everything you do. And all of that time that you spend on that is time that you spend on things that are not going to propel you forward. It's like, I wish if the average sports fan was as obsessed with getting in great shape and being healthy in the gym as they are in sports, like, we would live in a world of like jacked dudes that are just performing amazing feats of strength. And we wouldn't be so fat as a society. We wouldn't have a 70% obesity rate, or a 70% overweight, 40% obesity rate. Because I know somebody will correct me. But that's where we're at, man. So, I mean, look, like, to be clear, to reiterate, watch fucking sports if you want to watch sports. I'm not here to write prescriptions. I'm not here to tell anybody what they should or shouldn't do. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I think about it. And, if you like what I got to say and you think that I've got some valid points, then cool, man. Like, check out the academy. Come hang out with guys like me. Come solve your dating problems. Get in better shape. Learn how women work. Be in a group of like-minded men that are trying to push each other and do more important things and focus on getting better results out of life versus watching other guys play a game for a little bit of a dopamine hit when they win. And also, it's like when they lose, I mean, man, I know grown men, it's like my team lost, so I'm going to be mean all night. It's like, you're a fucking child. A couple of dudes playing a game that have nothing to do with you didn't beat the other team of dudes playing a game, and now you're going to use that as an excuse to be a fucking asshole to people. I talked like the live show I did 2 weeks ago about the guy that wanted to watch the 49ers game, and she said no, and he killed his fucking wife over it. He got hammered ass drunk and he was on cocaine. It's like, that guy didn't live in moderation. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, but my God, man, it's just like, I've never met, and this isn't, the barometer of it. I'm just saying, I've never met a person that is more obsessed with sports than their own success and does well. I just haven't seen it. I just haven't seen people that are more worried about the success of others and sports and this other thing than they are worried about their own personal success, their health, their money, their relationships, all that sort of stuff. And I think that's largely part of the problem. I think people prioritize this. It's like, it's who people are. They're obsessed with it. And I think that if you do that with other things, people would look at you like you're fucking crazy. It's like, again, I use the actor example, but it's like, hey, man, I really love beer. I love drinking beer. I love talking about beer. I can't wait to see the new beer that comes out on tap. It's beer season. Oh, it's beer fest. It's my Super Bowl. It's beer fest. I just love beer. I'm going to post on social media about my favorite beers. I'm going to do ratings on beer. This is my favorite. And you'd be like, dude, get a fucking life. That's what I think about the average. That's what I think about diehard sports fans. I think get a life, right? Like, you don't wear the jerseys. You don't wear the colors. You're not part of it. You're not part of the organization. They don't sign your checks. It's like, it'd be like me, like, yeah, man, I'm like a big Google fan, like love Google. Like, yeah, Google's my favorite company. I'm going to get on the earnings calls and the quarterly earnings calls, and I'm going to read the press releases that Google put out. And I'm going to wear a Google shirt. I love Google, man. It's just the best. Like, favorite search engine, big fan of Google. You know what? Fuck ChatGPT. I'm Google till I die. Gemini, forget ChatGPT. Fuck Grok. I'm Gemini all day. Google. I'm a Google guy. You'd be like, you're fucking psychopath. Like, why do you care? It's fucking Google. That's all. And that's all this is. Like, it's a company. Like, these sports teams are companies. They're there to make money. They're businesses. In any case, yeah, the super fan aspect. Again, I think for me, that's a red flag in a guy that I want to, that if I'm screening somebody out, even to join the community, if they're like, hey man, I can't come to this meetup, I can't come to the meetup where we're going to push each other and we're going to train hard and we're going to work out, we're going to shoot guns and we're going to get to new heights and new levels and we're going to do business masterminds and really grow as a group and as a team and as a tribe, because I got tickets to, not even that, I'm going to watch the 49ers game. They're going to, I'm going to sit at home on Sunday. I got to make sure I'm back at 1:00 to catch the game. Like, nah, man, we're good. Like, you could just stay at home and watch that. Like, you don't have to worry about us. So personally, I don't know if this clarifies my stance or not. You know what? It just is what it is. Ask me individually then. Like, I don't know. The superfan stuff, I think that's the stuff that I'm really talking about. Will I ever watch a football game again? Sure. I watched the freaking game yesterday. I watched it was on in the background and I was doing some other stuff, but I watched the AFC Championship game. It was boring. I was like, I don't really care about this, but it was on. So it's like, whatever. Cool. But I was doing stuff. I was working. I did all the other work. I got work I got to do today. I got work I got to do tonight. So it's just, be a steward of your time. And I'm just a dude on the internet with some opinions and a microphone. So if you think I'm full of shit, like, all right, man, like, more power to you. I'm not telling you how to live your life. I'm just saying this is how I live my life. And if you're a guy that feels similar or thinks the same, then, maybe we get on and maybe you should join the community and the academy and see what's going on in there. So I just don't know guys that are particularly successful that are worried about other people's lives more than they're worried about their others. Then they're worried about themselves, right? Mental point of origin, my life, living life on my own terms, doing exactly what I want, caring more about my success than anybody else's. And I think that's really what brings people together. When you have things in common with a group of guys and a group of folks that is based on self-improvement and getting to the next level and a mission and a purpose and my mission is to not watch football, and it's not to celebrate other people's accomplishments. Like having my own accomplishments. When you think about legacy, like leaving whatever legacy you want to leave, like what did you do while you were here? What did you achieve? Or were you just a passenger, and were you just on the sidelines the whole time rooting for other people and cheering on other guys? You know, when I see somebody win the fucking Super Bowl, when I see somebody hoisting a trophy on my TV, I want to do. I want. Where's my trophy? Like I want to accomplish shit. I want to get shit done. I want that feeling. I want that feeling of something that I've worked really, really hard for coming true. I want something that I've been able to achieve because I've put time and effort and blood and sweat and tears into it. Those guys have a right to be happy about it because they're living it. They're playing the game. You didn't do anything except click on a TV. Find your own fucking thing. Find your own Super Bowl. Find your own Lombardi Trophy. Find your own NBA Finals. Find your own World Series, and then go win it. So anyway, guys, I'll be back in about an hour and a quarter for the female POVs tonight, Navigating Modern Dating tomorrow night. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, follow the channel, follow me on Instagram, repost my stuff, join the academy. All that stuff really helps. And I'll see you guys next week for this show, and then a little bit later for FPOV. So see you guys soon.